The Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Glory to you, O Lord. Now when Jesus heard this, he withdrew from there in a boat to a deserted place by himself. But when the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from the towns. When he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion for them and cured the sick. When it was evening, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is now late. Send the crowds away so that they may go into the villages and buy food for themselves." Jesus said to them, "They need not go away. You give them something to eat." They replied, "We have nothing here but 5 loaves and 2 fish." And Jesus said, "Bring them here to me." Then he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven and blessed and broke the loaves and gave them to the disciples. And the disciples gave them to the crowds. And all ate and were filled. And they took up what was left over of the broken pieces, 12 baskets full. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides women and children. The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, O Christ. There is nothing quite like a homemade meal. Mom food, we called it when I was a student. No matter how hard a dining hall or restaurant tries, a simple home-cooked meal with just a few flavors is truly a beautiful break from meals that are either complex in their flavors or just not that good to begin with. The decision of what to have has already been made. Conversation can start immediately because there's no menu to ponder. There's also something about sharing the same food with everyone else. Did you try the mac and cheese? So good, right? And then there's the knowledge that you're sharing that meal with the person or the people who made it too. In the abstract, we might understand that a chef is making our meal back in the kitchen, but when we're eating together, there's a relationship with the person who made that meal, a chance to get to know them better, especially if we didn't know them before, and to hear their story. Hospitality has always been central to our identity at Lord of Light, and Sunday night dinners have been a part of our history since our community was a club back in 1917. As we're making our plans for how we will welcome students as they return to campus in just one short month, I am mourning the fact that one of our central community building pieces, Sunday night dinner, will not be possible, at least for now. Communal homemade meals are simply impossible to do safely when a virus is raging, just as impossible as coming together indoors to sing and worship and socialize. I want to name this because we have 2 passages today in Isaiah and in Matthew in which the immediate need for sustenance is taken care of by the God who sees each of our most pressing needs. In Isaiah, those who have no money for food are told to come, buy and eat. Buy milk and wine without price. The people are not told to come and beg, but to come with their heads held high. This food is intended for them. So it is in Matthew 2, when it's time for dinner after tired Jesus has been preaching and teaching, even though he wanted a break, rather than send the people away so that they can go buy their own food independently and he can maybe get some rest, Jesus makes sure that they can all share in the bounty of a simple potluck with just a couple of ingredients. Simple food, simply given without price, shared among the people who might not have had much in common, except that they were all hungry in spirit, but also in body. Community is built and strengthened around food, and that is one of the reasons we have continued to celebrate communion together throughout this time of separation. Even though celebrating online is certainly imperfect, we are strengthened by the God who sees us and sees our own need for this tangible sign of God's grace in our lives. I am grateful that you are continuing to be a part of this community as we journey these uncharted waters together. My hope for all of us is that we are able to remember every time we come together that God is still with us, sharing Christ's body with us every step along this journey.